First students when he first started teaching, and I was just going into 7th grade and junior high from 6th grade, and the band director was supposed to be this nice elderly gentleman named Mr. Lasavita, who I was expecting to see my first day of band. And I walked in, and who do I see? This hipster with a beard. He was about 24 years old. I was like, who is this guy? The very first day, he and I got into it. He looked at me and goes, "Oh, you think you're good, don't you?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I am." And he goes, "Oh, yeah, prove it." So, and I played a little bit, and he goes, "Okay, you're all right." And I went home that day and told my parents I was going to quit band because I hated the new band director. And they said, "Well, just stick it out for a little bit." And thank goodness I did. Because as a friend of mine, Jam4Lloydfinale was also one of the Lloyd students, put it so succinctly, know you, know me. So, thanks, Lloyd. All right, we're going to carry on with some more music. Who hasn't played? Who wants to play? We're kind of getting to that part of the evening where we're going to start wrapping it up. So anybody else who wants to play and want to get up and do something now?
You're looking for that second chance. And I couldn't wait to get my hands on Charles. He's going to run my kitchen. You know what Charles said to me? He said, Reverend Scott, you know what I've always really wanted to do? I said, no, Charles. He said, I always wanted to go into nursing. And I'm going to embrace that passion because I always wanted to do that, particularly after caring for my mother. Charles is an RN. He's the supervisor out at Highlands. And you see, when Lloyd heard somebody was struggling with getting their math and their English and getting through one of those classes, you know what he did. Maybe I already told you. He was over there tutoring him. Now we got tutors. Lloyd was supposed to sign up. He didn't. He just went, saw a need, and took care of it. Randy was telling me how we always enjoyed when we could tell that his closets got cleaned out. Maybe Karen had something to do with that. He'd bring his clothes out here. He had nice clothes. I got to tell you, though, it was hard to find another guy as small as Lloyd. And one guy. I'd be nervous when I saw one big guy with two pairs of pants, one on each foot. No, in all seriousness, Lloyd gave from his heart. He gave from his talent. He gave and shared his mind, but more than that, more than all of that, the greatest gift was his presence. Because when you're here, what we hear is men who say on the survey, I wish I had another man to talk to. A woman who says, I wish I had another woman to talk to. Wish I had someone who would listen and understand. You know, that's where the transformation takes place. It's in every one of those encounters, and Lloyd got it. He got it because he was a natural teacher, but more than that, more than being a natural educator, more than sharing his passion for jazz, and understanding that the greatest language of communication is through music. And being a preacher, I got to give you just one little Hebrew lesson, okay? Just one. Because most people don't know this. In Genesis, chapter 1, verse 2, after we get back in the beginning, and it said, God created. Do you know what the Hebrew word for creation is? You may, because Lloyd knew. He sung the universe into being. Think about that. He sung the universe. The beginning of Genesis starts with that. The end of Revelations ends with that. Wonderful song, worthy is the Lamb, when all creation is still singing. There's that communication that connects with the spiritual, that communicates across our feelings, that communicates presence. And so we thank God for His presence. We want to honor that. I'll tell you, one of our pillars always comes from within. One of those is Randy Gamble. Randy may share with you his story of his journey, but every story starts off with a hope, counters some conflict, and then we see how hope overcomes. People reach their potential through their passion. Randy's one of those men we are so proud of. who bears that spirit along with so many other men and women here. I've asked Randy to help me tonight so that we all remember Lloyd's presence. We have this plaque that will go up and read what it says.
Weinberg Music Room, in memory of Lloyd Weinberg.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Let's have
Wonderful.
a moment of silence in his honor. Gracious Lord of the universe, you sang creation into being, whose presence is with us, who does not let any of us go. We thank you for the gift of Lloyd's life, the love of his family, but especially his love of treating all of his neighbors and students as family. Thank you that we have been included in that family, and that even now, through your presence, we are ever mindful of the fullness of joy of the light and life that Lloyd brought into so many lives, into dark places with joy and laughter, through struggle and tears, but through always being there. We thank you. We honor him, his family, his friends, his students, and what has become a legacy through his music and through these friends and family. In the precious name of the Messiah, the Christ. Amen. Enjoy. And now, Phil, one of his best legacies. Well, next to these two young men over here, Ben, please stand up. There he is. And there's
Where is actual
big
legacy?
hand.
Yeah.
They got his legs.
Okay, we're going to continue on now. First order of business is we're going to try a tune. Oh, wait a minute. Ben's got one more thing.
Because there's nothing that my dad, Lloyd, liked more than hearing other people talk. That's a joke. I think I should read his obituary, though, for those of you who didn't hear it. I'll get up here. Be fancy. This is the short version. I said, hey, you want the long version or the short version? Everybody said, short version. So it's really short. It's just what was in the paper. Lloyd was born on November 11th, 1946. In Washington, D.C., to Abe and Evelyn Weinberg. Now, this wasn't in the paper, but he was born 9 months and 4 days after his dad got back from the service.
And he said the second thing he did was take off his boots.
The family joke, as I heard it, was, what were they doing the other 4 days? He started playing, I think it was clarinet maybe, at the age of 7. He followed his older brother to a music lesson, and he loved it, and his older brother hated it. So he just took the horn and just kept going, and he really never stopped. It was the only thing that kept him going through school. He hated school. By the time he finished high school, he was pretty darn good, but he didn't know what he wanted to do with himself, so he joined the Navy and got into the Navy band and toured the Mediterranean on the USS Forrestal for, I'm going off script here, but he went on the Forrestal for 7 months, something like that. Is it written here? Long time. Has all these great stories. He used to come to my class when I was a kid and tell us all these stories, and everybody was just going, what? He liked to exaggerate too, so they were good stories. He went to the University of Maryland on the GI Bill after that,